Woo! 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 That's the sound of a painted dog. I'm glad to be here, and it's been a long day, I'm sure for most of you as well, but we appreciate you sticking around and being here to hear our story. Now, I'm here to tell you about the successes that we have had, not necessarily just for this year, but you see that this is a culmination of work that has been happening over the 25 years. It has not been easy. The global economy has not been great, but particularly looking at Zimbabwe, the socio-economic situation has not been that great. Our operational budgets, as we worked through, especially the last 2 years, we've seen it going up to over $1 million a year. Now, thanks to you, we've had all the support to carry us through these difficult times, and I want to believe that we will be together going forward as we try to push for creating this conducive environment where painted dogs can thrive. Now, during the day, I met different people. We have had different experiences with painted dogs. But I have my special moment with this special animal. I was in Manapus with one of my colleagues that some of you might know, Jealous Mpofu, and we were tracking this pack of 9. But at this stage, I could only see 6 dogs in front of the vehicle. They were jogging along, almost bouncing off the ground because of these long legs that they have. And their big ears were out. They would stop and scan the area. And obviously, they were looking for the other 3 juveniles that were missing because we knew this pack had 9. They stopped. It was getting a bit dark. So from their brown, white, and black color, it was really a bit camouflaged. It was becoming difficult to see them. But they went back of the vehicle for a moment, and these 3 juveniles appeared right in front of us. And luckily enough, at that moment, we had switched our lights on for the vehicle, so it was clear. And we had a dash behind the vehicle of these 6 going to meet those 3. It was a spectacular moment. They were jumping, wagging tails, kissing. That's what dogs do. Painted dogs are a social animal. They depend on each other for this social bond so that they can take care of the young, they can take care of the sick, and they can protect themselves from other predators. Numbers matter to painted dogs. That's why they were worried. Unfortunately, they couldn't make a wuko at that time because it was going to give them away to lions, but they found each other. Numbers matter, but unfortunately, friends, we have less than 7,000 of these dogs left in Africa. That's not good. And to give you some perspective, there's 40,000 elephants in one national park, Hwange National Park in Zimbabwe. There's about 150 to 200 dogs in the same park. I know elephants have their own issues. I mean, we even have a crisis fund for it. But if we're talking about a race to extinction, definitely dogs are ahead of the pack. So, is it all doom and gloom? Not really. Because of the work that we have been doing, because of the support you have been giving us, we've made inroads. We have chipped at this decline that we have been seeing, and we're trying to, indeed, to improve the numbers. This is Mkondo Pack. Mkondo came into the buffer zone, which is the area between the protected area of Hwange National Park and the communities. This is where you would find the area riddled with snares, and we have been working in these areas. But now the pack went in, 6 of them. Last year they had a litter of 12, 10 have survived, 16 strong, and the guys, as we speak, are right in the field making sure that they give the best protection to this pack. Not only that, but we're getting information that the pack is out of the den, and they've counted 10 more pups that have been added to this pack. Now, that's 26 strong, a 26 strong pack outside of the core protected area of Hwange National Park. That's testament to the work that we have been doing for over 25 years. That's testament to the faith and trust that you have given to us, the amount of investment that you have given us to do this work, understanding that conservation is not a sprint. Conservation is a marathon. Results don't come just tomorrow. You have to be patient about it. And we are happy that we are starting to see these sounds. Now, how do we get here? The snares are out there. We need to have immediate protection. So we have an anti-poaching unit that goes out there every day. It goes out there whether it's raining or shining. We have 27 members that have done 14,600 patrols to date. We have teams that have collected 50,000 snares since 2001. The guys have patrolled an area almost close to the state of Connecticut. That's powerful for people if you look at the conditions that they have to work in every day. Now, Lefias is one of those that have worked in this unit. He has put in 30,000 hours of his time into patrols. They say if you do 10,000 hours on something, you become an expert. Now, he has done 30,000 hours. So he's an expert times 3. It talks to the people that we work with that are dedicated, they stay on the job. They want to do what they are doing. And this also speaks to the organization that has been built over the years. Now, to buttress this effort, to reinforce what we have been doing, we have started an all-female anti-poaching unit. Why all-female? Most of the engagements that we do in the communities, we find women represent more than men. So why not? So we introduced the all-female anti-poaching unit, and it's really also a testimony to how we want to be inclusive in our approach to conservation in the communities. In anticipation of an El Nino-induced drought with poor rains, the crops failed, and we know from our experience that when that happens, the next thing, people are going into the bush. So we took our teams through rigorous training. We took them to training where their fitness was tested. We took them for training so that the law enforcement procedures that they're supposed to follow, they are aware of them so that we don't lose cases at the courts. And they were trained. When they were trained, we deployed them back into that buffer zone where Mkondo Pack is and other packs so that we can continue to provide this blanket protection that is needed to make sure that we can continue to create a conducive environment where these painted dogs can thrive. This is not just out of our own expertise, but this is through the support that you have rendered to us over these years, and we thank you for that. Now, it would be unfair not to mention the community, which in 2015 stepped up. They said, you know, we don't want to be the trouble causers only. We want to be part of the solution. So they started a community anti-poaching unit, which has been thriving since 2015. And for 6 months in the year, we engage them. They help our teams to remove the snares, but we also give them a stipend. And you know what that stipend does? It's funds that they go and use in their communities. If you, I alluded to earlier that the socio-economic situation is not that good, and these funds really help to sustain some of these families. And it is important that from the concept of the dog, the social pack that is the dogs that do, you know, we and the community, we together work together and we support them as well, not just them supporting us. So we feel proud about that initiative. That said, we have to look into the future. The snares are here, we have picked them, but we don't want to be picking snares all our lives. We want the snares to stop. So we have to look at the education, and especially of the young ones. So we have our flagship program, which is the Children's Bush Camp, which has brought over 16,000 kids since 2004. We bring them for this 4-day course where we engage them in human-wildlife conflict teachings, ecological adaptations, and we also get them to interact a bit with the wildlife, either at our rehab facility, or indeed we take them into the park on a game drive. You see, most of these kids' experience with wildlife is not positive. They live not so far from the park, but access to the park is limited sometimes. So we give them this opportunity to go into the park and see wildlife in its glory, as it were, in its natural state. And they get to appreciate that there is a chance to coexist with wildlife without necessarily having a negative view about it. And it's a seed of love that we plant in them. It's the knowledge we give them at the bush camp that will help them to make decisions in their lives regarding how they associate with nature. Now, we've also seen a ripple effect of the bush camp work that we have done, that it's not only those that have come to the bush camp that have this knowledge. They go home, they share with their siblings, they share with their uncles, and this knowledge is out there. And this impact of the bush camp is testified by this little girl, Natasha. She's 7. She hasn't been to the bush camp, but her sisters were. And they were around the fire, and she was told about how nice the bush camp is and all the things that she was taught. On this day, she came across a pangolin. We have heard about pangolins from the morning, highly trafficked mammal, and the value on it is high. I mean, other decisions would have been made if there was an education about it. But Natasha told the elders who in turn told national parks, and the pangolin was taken and it was released back into the park. That's the impact that you have made possible. That's the impact that we have been driving for 25 years. This is what we regard as success in conservation. Now, the bush camp has created this pool, a source for us to employ from, which is also part of our strategy. You have to employ people, they have to see the benefit of this conservation organization around us. It also helps with a lot of other things. And Belinda, she came through the bush camp, and indeed now she is leading our all-female anti-poaching unit. On the left, top left, Seveva Nyasulu came through the bush camp. He's in our marketing and communications department. Kelvin Manzo on the top right, he's understudying Jealous Mpofu. He also came through the bush camp. Bottom left, we have Corrine, who is in our administrative office. She sits right in front of me in the office, which is great. And then we have Beulah, who has literally come back to the bush camp. She's working back at the bush camp and preparing meals for the kids that come, and it's really a fantastic story to tell. Now, this social bond that dogs depend on, we can apply it to ourselves. Ourselves as practitioners in the field, you that support us, our friends, our stakeholders in the communities that we work in, so that we can have the most success in a vision that I think we all share, which is about seeing success in the species that we work with, in the communities that we are in. And I think if we continue with this spirit of the painted dog, we'll have plenty of success. And I saw this spirit today with the launch of the Painted Dog Fund. The Painted Dog Fund is going to expand our 25 years of work across Africa. There can't be anything better than that. We have been looking at Zimbabwe, but I think the fund is going to help bring this protection of the painted dog, indeed, like it was said in the morning, where they exist, and indeed, where they can exist. And Africa is waiting for Painted Dog Fund. Ladies and gentlemen, friends, I alluded to you the socio-economic challenges that we are having. It's not easy to work in an environment where tomorrow you never know, but you have been with us. And I'm making a who call today. Woo, 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 to you, to come and partner with us so that we can save these dogs, we can save these people, we can save these landscapes. I thank you.